All right, so this is going to be discussion number three, and this discussion is mainly going to revolve around the different arguments supporting the existence of a God. These three arguments are the ontological, the cosmological, and the teleological argument. Um, I'll probably mispronounce that last one at least one more time before this video is over. But I'll start off with the ontological argument, which states that we basically understand that there's a God according to basic human understanding. When we think of the universe, we think of a benevolent God that's associated with it. Um, and it also states that if the God that we think of when we think of the universe um, is indeed perfect, then he has to exist in order for him to be perfect. And so, in my opinion, this is probably the most controversial and the least convincing argument to me. You need to have at least some kind of theoretical information or evidence to kind of back up an argument. And this one doesn't really do it for me. It probably works for a lot of people because at the end of the day, when it comes to the God argument, all you really have is that soul belief deep down that a God does exist, at least for now. And that's all that really matters to a lot of people. And so I could see why some people would stick with this argument. Um, but in this field and what we're doing, you need to have um, a little bit more concrete information or evidence to back something like this up. And so that is the ontological argument. Now, the cosmological argument sort of regards first cause and how things came to be. And there's three arguments within an argument that kind of tie in God at the end and how he must have a part in the universe and just his overall existence. And so the first argument is that the universe has always existed, and this one I believe is pretty weak. I'm with Rufus on infinite regress of time. The second argument within an argument involves self-creation and that the universe created itself. I think that's pretty far-fetched too. The universe has a lot of non-living qualities, and so I think it's a little out there to suggest that the universe created itself. Um, you'd have to have something to kind of light the spark, even on the Big Bang. And that's kind of where the third argument within the argument comes into play on how God is pretty much the creator of the universe. He is the one that is involved in first cause, and I think that's a fair argument. I find it pretty logical, and I think it kind of ties in to the third argument, the teleological argument, which states that the universe and how it acts, how everything works, and just coexists is in such an organized and specific manner that there must be some kind of benevolent God that planned it out to be that way, or that created it in that way so that everything worked in unison. And I think this is my favorite overall argument. Like I said, it kind of falls in line with the last argument of the cosmological and how creation works. A lot of what happens in the world is very unique, and to argue that the way everything works in the perfect almost way that it works, and how things interact on such a big and small scale must have been planned out or organized by a higher being. And so I think the teleological argument is probably my favorite argument and the most logical, pertaining to just all the evidence that surrounds us every day. And so those are the three arguments supporting the existence of a God. And that will do it for discussion number three. Thank you.